Buongiorno and welcome to Runswick Bay on the North Yorkshire coast. It's a murky Friday morning, but what we're going to do today is to go on a circular walk from Runswick Bay. We're going to walk along the beach, which is on the Cleveland Way. We're going to walk to a clearing between the cliffs, and we go up some steps to the top of the cliffs, and then we'll be walking round on top of the cliffs to Kettleness, which is over there through the murk, and then we'll be going inland to the railway line which operated between Whitby and Saltburn, and then we're going to walk back to Runswick Bay along that railway line. Okay, we've now walked round from where we were before, and if we just zoom out and pan round, you can then see the village of Runswick Bay, and if we pan back you can see the whole of the bay. So what we'll be doing now is to walk along the beach so we're now on the beach, and the tide is very steadily going out. We're progressing round to this point here to Barnby Dales, and there's a gap between the cliffs for us to walk through and then walk up onto the cliff. We've now come to the end of our walk on the beach because we've now reached Barnby Dales. So you can see the seas right in front of us. Behind us is where we'll be continuing on with our walk. So as we turn round, this is where we've got to walk now, through this gap in the cliff known as Barnby Dales. And the beck flowing through the dale is Claymore Beck, and we'll just walk a short way into the dale, and then we have to climb up 279 steps to get to the top of the cliff to continue our walk. So we've now reached the entrance to the dale, and as you can see Claymore Beck is right in front of us. And we're going to have to walk to the right of the beck, and you'll see there's handrails there to hold on to as we move through the dale. So we've now walked by Claymore Beck, and we've now come here to the bridge which goes over the beck, and then we start on the 279 steps up to the top of the cliff. We've walked up a bit higher now. We've got a nice view of Runswick Bay and the tide continuing to move out. We've now come to the top of the 279 steps, and I've rested my stuff as well as my backside on the bench there at the top of the steps. If we pan round, we have a magnificent view coming up of Runswick Bay, and there's the village there, and if I zoom in there you can see close up of Runswick Bay. And we've moved on a bit further, and we've got a magnificent view here of Runswick Bay and its beach. Now we're progressing steadily on our way on the Cleveland Way, and our next stop will be in Kettleness. So we've continued on a little bit further, and we've got our first view of Kettleness. So when we get to Kettleness, we're going to go onto the railway line which used to run from Whitby to Saltburn, and then walk on the old railway line back to Runswick Bay. So we've now arrived at Kettleness, and in the distance there is Runswick Bay, and if we pan round we've got the Kettleness beach in front of us and signs telling us that we're on the Cleveland Way. But we won't be staying on the Cleveland Way, which continues up there. We're going to be walking along the road here to where this car has just appeared, and when we reach the letterbox up there we'll be turning right. Now we've walked along the road and we've come now to the old Kettleness station, and what we're going to do is to take the next turning on the right onto the cinder track. And this here is the cinder track which we'll follow, which takes us back in the direction of Runswick Bay. As we're walking back inland to Runswick Bay, we can look out to sea and we can see people there walking along the Cleveland Way in the direction of Kettleness. So as you can see beyond them you've got the sea, while we just progress along the old railway line from Whitby to Saltburn, which is now a cinder track. We've now come to a point where we cannot continue on the cinder track because the gates are all chained up and we can't open them. So as a consequence we're going to have to go on this footpath that runs parallel to the cinder track. So we just go down here and bear left. Now the path that we're going to follow is the one in front of us that runs parallel to the hedgerows by the cinder track. The path's actually taken us back down to the Cleveland Way. So what we'll do is hop over the stile here and then just continue walking on the Cleveland Way, down the steps, and then back onto the beach and back to Runswick Bay. So we've now walked down the steps and we're just about to walk onto the beach, and we've got the waterfall there at Claymore Beck, and if we pan round you'll see that the tide has gone out since we were here this morning. There's a bit more beach visible, and what we're going to do now is to venture to the cafe in Runswick Bay for a nice cup of tea. And with that I'll say arrivederci.